From Dublin down the east coast to the Saltees, round the corner Kilmore Quay, and along the south coast to a homecoming in Boatstrand. It's becoming a substantial voyage, and the trickiest bit so far looks to be getting into the harbour in Ring.
Okay, lads, it's going to be a narrow entrance. We're going to do a turn inside. Are you ready on starboard?
So we're coming starboard side, coming into the starboard side.
Yeah.
You're going to turn her to face out. It's a tricky business coming into a harbour you've never been into before.
Say that.
Especially in a wind like this.
Slatter in there to the red fella. We'll go alongside that red fella. Jeekers, look at this, lads. She won't stop. Watch the bow. She won't stop.
It's only a little pump.
That was full astern. Wait till she comes through the wind again. Don't move up to the bow. There's a fisherman there will take that line. Go, Eric. Lovely. Well done, lads. Thanks. Lovely.
Well, that'll go down in the log as one incident where wind and tide nearly got the better of us. So right now I'm going to take a break. I'm going to visit a farm. A slightly unusual farm, I've been told.
Jim, you call yourself a farmer, but it's a queer-looking farm. How did you get into all this stuff?
Well, I'm a dairy farmer. I've been years dairy farming. About 10, 15 years ago, I looked for diversification and did a bit of research. Had a lot of luck, more than anything else. So now I'm an oyster farmer.
Have you given up the dairy farming altogether?
Not at all, no.
Where is your farm?
My farm is just straight in a mile from here, actually.
And so you've extended it out to sea?
Well, yeah, you could say that. We have extended it out here. We have 20 men employed full-time.
How many?
That many, yeah. That many, where there was no employment. We have about 15 to 20 part-time, as well as that.
And you must be one of the largest single employers on Helvick Head?
I think we are, yes. I think we are.
So this started off as a bit of a sideline from your dairy farm.
It was.
It sounds to me, though, that the dairy farm is now the sideline.
Well, a bit, yeah, but it's quite. Dairy farm is important all the time, but this has developed into a good business now. We're turning over, I say, tonnage-wise, we're turning out 600 tons a year of oysters. There was never an oyster in Dungarvan Harbour previous to this. I think the total production in Ireland is roughly about 4,000 tons.
So you're a big player in the Irish oyster market?
Well, we are, but I mean, the oyster industry in Ireland has such an opportunity to grow. They produce 160,000 tons in France every year. We're producing 4.5. And we have such environmentally clean beaches right around the coast. I think there's definitely a market out there for about maybe 8 to 15,000 tons.
So why aren't more people doing it?
Well, it's a new industry, and it takes a lot of financing. Financing in any sea venture is not too easy. But certainly there's more people at it. There's a lot of smaller growers here now in Dungarvan, and they're developing. It's an industry that can go places.
So would you recommend other farmers around the coast to have a look at what they've got offshore?
Well, certainly, to look out here 15 years ago, there was no oyster in Dungarvan Harbour. I took a gamble and saw that maybe 5 or 6 other men like, and it has worked out, but we've worked very hard at it. Nobody would think there's an industry here. Tide is in, you see nothing, and you just see one strip of a black line when the tide is out. Everything else, water skiing, sailing, everything can go on with it.
So it's not ruining the environment, and it's not even ruining the look of the place?
Nothing. If it's fair and right, and if you think of the environment, and you have to be concerned about the environment if you're getting your living out of it, I think you can put something back into it, and that's only a matter of being organised.
We've lost another battle. I think we'll be calling to Crosshaven. Who's there? McWilliams Sailmakers. We'll be calling on him.
If nothing worse happens to us, I'm happy.
Dick, when you're happy, everybody's happy.
Roach's Point Light and the entrance to Cork Harbour. The last time I sailed through an industrial landscape was leaving Dublin. It seems so long ago. This is almost nostalgic. So I'm sightseeing, making a big loop round Cork Harbour.
Any idea of the name of that vessel, Dick? Look at the boys on the bow, huh? Yeah. They're the lads. Nice, colourful buildings. Look at that, lads. Nice, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, it's a very different sort of a skyline, isn't it? Industry.
Of all the cranes inside, none is working.
Not a single one. Well, there's very little sound or activity coming out of it.
Our ultimate destination is Haulbowline Island, the headquarters of the Naval Service and a shrine to good seamanship.
I'll look after the motor, huh?
Just go out a bit to open up the entrance.
That's it. Exactly.
We can see what we're doing.
Yep. Going in on starboard. You ready, Donald?
Island in the middle.
Yes. And you will be turning fairly sharp.
I'm just going to open it up a little bit more.
Once we have a look. Donald, you'll want to be fairly sharp now with that stern warp. Yeah. I'd say we're slotting in nearly to the corner there.
So,
see that? More of a turn now, Dick, please.
Okay, just drop it back a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't think we need quite that speed on it.
And I'd give her more of a turn again.
Impressive looking place.
Wait for it. More astern. Over with the tiller. Way over, Dick. Watch that bow, lads.
I really don't want to make a mess of berthing her here, of all places.
Round the other one, Donald. Come on now, please. Just around it. That's it. Now, heave-o. Just hold her as she is. That's it. Well done. Well done. There you are. Let her settle now.
Sean, I know that Haulbowline Island has a very long naval history from the Royal Navy and so on, but how long has our naval service been based here?
We arrived here in 1940 when the Marine Service was set up at the start of the Second World War.
And we'd no navy before that?
We didn't, but it wasn't a case of neglect. It was a provision of the 1921 Anglo-Irish Treaty that we wouldn't.
So why do we need a naval service? What do we need a navy for?
Well, I suppose you could describe it as the sea is a very large natural resource we've got, and that's a natural resource that has to be managed and policed like any other.
So what jobs do you do mostly?
As for time spent, probably fishery patrol, fishery protection. We also are involved with interdiction of suspected drug smuggling, arms smuggling, and any piece of national law enforcement that the state requires to do off the coast.
There are exercises going on at present. What sort of things are you doing?
Exercises are sort of ongoing. You see, the naval base exists to train people to man the ships, as well as other functions. That will involve military-type training. It will also involve the basic elements of seamanship, right up to, we'll say, something dealing with a potential hijacking or drugs interdiction operation.
You've been in the naval service for a long time yourself. Are you proud of it?
Oh, yeah. If I didn't feel a little bit like that, you wouldn't stay in it. It's often as much of a vocation as it is a job. And I'm not saying you don't have your down days as well, but by and large, yes, we would be, yeah.
You can see the marina up ahead. This seems to me to be a free pontoon on the outside there.
You guys all right there? Everything ship-shape.
It's a beautiful place.
Seems to be a nice bar and restaurant up there as well. Good afternoon, sir. The welcoming committee, huh? East Ferry for the first time.
Cork Harbour is really a very complicated bit of water when you see it on the chart, isn't it?
It is indeed, yeah.
What's this purple line that goes down here?
That's the gas pipeline to the Marathon field.
Oh, out here?
This is where we're headed tomorrow.
How far out is it?
I would say about, 28 miles. Yeah.
So how long is that going to take us?
I'd say about 5 hours, 5.5 hours.
I suppose we'd better call them and get permission. Have you any idea how we get in touch with them?
You can contact them on channel 08, Dick. Give them a buzz there on 08.
On the VHF?
Yeah.
Okay.
Marathon Gastric, Marathon Gastric, Marathon Gastric. This is Rin Voyager.
Rin Voyager, Rin Voyager. Do you copy? Over.
Rin Voyager. This is the Kinsale Bravo. Go ahead, please.
Marathon Gas, Rin Voyager is a 40-foot catch. My name is Dick Warner, and I'm making a television series about life around the coast. I'm calling to see if we could visit you and film the activity on the platform.
Over.
Rin Voyager, this is the Bravo West. Yeah, you've been cleared to come into our exclusion zone. Over.
Marathon Gas, we'd be leaving East Ferry early in the morning. It gives us an ETA of about 1,600 hours, weather permitting. Over.
Rin Voyager, yeah, confirmed this is the Kinsale West, and hope to see you tomorrow. Bravo clear.
But there's a bit of extra excitement in store for tomorrow. We're picking up a passenger, a naval officer, who's organising an interruption.
Good morning.
Morning, sir. Lieutenant Cormac from the Naval School.
Dick Warner, very pleased to meet you. Let me introduce you to our crew. This is Eric here.
Eric, nice to meet you.
Donald.
Donald, how are you?
And our skipper over here. Jerry Moran.
Sir, Cormac from the Naval School.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Come aboard.
Okay, lads, we're going to get ready. Yeah. Okay, chaps. That's it. Away with you, Dick.
Cormac, tell me a little bit about this exercise we're going to be involved in today.
Well, normally our ships are operating in isolation. So, 3 times a year now, we carry out exercises to keep our crews worked up so that they can respond to any situation they might encounter at sea.
So we're going to be dummy drug smugglers, is that right?
Oh, absolutely. We take every opportunity we can now to train our people in the drugs interdiction role. We've recently taken on this role as part of the Joint Task Force, and while we normally operate with the Customs and the Garda, we are empowered now to operate on our own, and we must be prepared to be able to do that. So the opportunity that you've given us of using your vessel as a target vessel is ideal.
It suits us too, because we're on the way out to the gas platform, so we'll be passing the area where you're doing your exercise, so everybody's happy. The other thing you may not know is that you're one of the very few navies in the world that has the distinction of never having rescued our skipper.
Now, wait, now, hold it now, Dick. I've taken a fair bit of stick on this so far. Be careful on that one. The Brazilian Navy salvaged my boat, Meg,
Salvaged your
in
boat.
Nicholson 35, 1990.
Very important distinction.
Oh, yeah.
But the RAF helped you out.
They were very good friends of mine as well. 1981, 6th of June. Lifelong pals, I can tell you, Corm.
Roger, head 6.4. Extra cables.
190, Coxswain.
190, sir.
Head 5. Steady on 190.
Steady on 190, sir.
Yacht Rin Voyager, Rin Voyager. This is the Irish naval vessel Aoife on channel 73, over.
Aoife, this is the yacht Rin Voyager, Rin Voyager. Listing 73, over.
Good afternoon, Rin Voyager. This is the captain speaking. I would like to exercise my armed boarding parties and board your vessel, over.
Irish naval vessel Aoife. For what purpose, may I ask, over?
For the purpose of exercising my boarding parties, over.
Okay, Captain, that'll be fine, thank you.
Roger, stand by to receive my boarding parties. Right, for exercise, armed boarding stations.
For exercise.
Armed boarding stations. Assume damage control state to condition Yankee.
They come.
Yeah.
It's a frightening enough looking sight.
The mothership in the background. Way off.
Hello, can I speak to the skipper, please?
Oh, yeah, Jerry's in there.
Hello, Jerry. I'm
What?
Lieutenant Rooney from the Irish Naval Vessel Aoife,
Okay.
and a drugs enforcement officer of the state.
Yep.
Now, I've been asked by my captain to board you for routine boarding and to carry out an exercise search.
All right.
Right, I'd just like to ask you a few questions, sir, before we carry on with the search,
Yep.
all right? How many crew members have you on board?
5 altogether.
5. Okay. Could I ask you to bring, if you want to leave somebody in the helm, and to bring 3 members up forward? I'd like to talk.
Will you stay in the helm?
Okay.
All right.
I'd just like to
You
ask
wanna
you a
go
few
below?
questions. Yeah, if we can below. And
All right. Go on.
Ades, can you interview the 3 crew members, please?
All right, lads.
I'd just like to inform you I'm a drug enforcement officer of the state. I'm just here to ask you a couple of questions. Before you do, is there anything on your personal possession or in your personal items that you'd like to declare to me now?
No, nothing at all.
Okay, what is your name?
Donald O'Kelly.
Your address?
Grange, County Sligo.
It's a pretty intimidating experience, even when your brain is telling you it's only an exercise. Our torn main has come back from the sailmakers.
Okay, that main is pretty good.
We've plenty of canvas for the long passage out to the gas platform.
We're going to get ready now, lads.
Right.
The action stations.
This orange mushroom growing out of the sea looks completely and totally weird. As you get closer, it grows very big and rather intimidating. Once on board, I start to climb and climb and climb, and with each step my fingers clutch harder to the cold, wet steel. I've a bad head for heights. Mustn't look down, mustn't glimpse the wrinkled, heaving hide of the monstrous sea below.
Welcome aboard Bravo gas platform.
Thanks very much. I'm out of breath.
Tough climb, yeah?
Yeah.
Show you inside.
Thanks a lot.
A quick change into flame-proof clothing and a guided tour from Tony.
Tony, how long have you worked on this thing?
Almost 18 years now, Dick.
18 years?
Yes.
And does it still strike you after all these years that it really is an amazing place, this man-made island 30 miles offshore?
It is when you arrive first on the Wednesday is the start of our week.
Yeah.
When we arrive first, it takes quite a while to get acclimatized.
To get used to it again?
Yes, because we're so far away from land. It's 30
But you're very
miles away.
self-sufficient, aren't you?
Yes, we make our water from the seawater, and we make our electricity from the gas. We have our own generators here.
This platform actually stands on legs on the seabed, doesn't it?
Yes, we have 8 legs, Dick, and each leg is actually a pipe. It's a 54-inch pipe, so they're huge, and they sit on 300 feet of water.
Wow.
So the seabed is 300 feet underneath us here.
And how big is the platform above? It's a couple of hundred feet above sea level. The top
Well, the lower decks are about 80 feet above sea level, yes.
And the top of it would be nearly 200,
Nearly 200 feet, yes. Yeah.
And where's the gas?
The gas is actually in a reservoir under the seabed, Dick, and we have 7 wells. 1 well is vertical, the other 6 wells are deviated.
That means they're off to one side?
Off to angles, different angles, yes.
And how far below the bed of the sea is the gas lying?
It's 4,000 to 5,000 feet.
And you pump it up from this reservoir, as you call it?
Yes, it comes up by natural pressure. We measure the gas and we compress it, and it goes ashore from there. We have one sole customer, that's Bord Gas.
And how important is it for our energy needs?
Oh, it's very important. It's our only natural gas field in the country at the moment. And I think it supplies about 30% of the gas needs of the country.
Well, how long will it last?
That's a very good question.
You don't know?
We don't know. It's a finite resource, though. It's a finite resource.
Okay, go.
Sailing into the west and feeling dangerously at ease with the rhythms of the sea. Galley headlight to starboard is a warning of this danger. Mrs. Butler lives here. Once she was the light keeper.
72 years ago, I was born at a lighthouse in Larne, County Antrim. And since that, I have been all around the coast, practically, you know. The exception of a couple of years, 4 or 5 years in Galway when I was at school.
And how come you continued to live in lighthouses as an adult?
Well, I married a lighthouse keeper.
What age were you when you got married?
Nearly 20. Well, 19 and a half.
And you reared your own family in the lighthouse too?
I did. I reared them all. We came here to the Galley Head. My father was principal keeper here, so we came here. Well, we requested to come here because Dad and Mum were here and they were able to give a hand with the children. So I had 2 little girls born here then.
How many children did you have?
15.
That's a fair size of a family.
It is. But you see, the time passes so quickly and you don't realise, you know, I'm here now without anyone. And it only seems a few short years. You really only have a lend of them. They're up and gone.
What do you like about lighthouses and life in a lighthouse?
There's something different to the rest of the country, I suppose, really, you know. Your little world of your own, kind of, do you know? And I love to go up to the top of the lighthouse, too. It was rough, you know, and I could stay for ages there watching the sea. There is a certain mysticism about a lighthouse, you know.
What do you think about the fact that this profession of lighthouse keeper is now extinct, that all the lighthouses around the coast are automatic?
Well, I think it's very sad. Nothing can beat the human eye. I mean, how do you know where things will fail or where a lighthouse even will fail when there's no... I mean, it never failed when you had a man there, a keeper there. People will often tell me now, people in boats or even in bigger ships, they'll say, it is very lonely passing a lighthouse where there's no one. You know there's no contact. And they always had that at the back of their head, I suppose, that, well, there's somebody there watching out and keeping a watch on things.
What was it she said? Nothing can beat the human eye.